Hey, Max, good to see you.
Good to see you, Rick. Man, good to be back in the chair again.
Yeah, we had a fun day golfing.
Yeah, went out and played a nice round of golf today. The sun was out a little bit, high 50s, but a little breezy, but not bad.
Yeah, the wind had a little chill, but it kind of felt good.
Overall, this spring kicks butt on the last 2 springs at least. Yeah. I mean, we've gotten out 2 or 3 times already. This is what I expected Montana springs to be. Yeah, we're going to get some rain. Yeah, we're going to get some snow in the mountains. We need that, right? But it's greening up. It's freaking beautiful. And these type of days, you got to grab them when you can.
Yeah. And one of the things I love, I mean, I love it. I mean, just it's good for the soul is when you look out at the mountains and you see that snow.
That white cap.
Part way down. Yeah. And the sun is shining and it's warm and it's sun on your face.
Yep.
But you see that snow on those mountains. It's just something about it.
That's why we live here, right? I mean, we both talked about all the different places we could live.
Yeah.
And in the summertime, there's no question. This is my favorite.
This is it.
And I've been fortunate enough to have been in all 50 states and most every major market in the country. And yeah, there's some beautiful areas of like the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and there's some lighthouses and there's some cool stuff in Boston. But man, this is home to me. And this time for the next 4 to 5 months is why we live here. It's beautiful.
I was just back in Omaha visiting family at a family graduation, and there was part of me that I'm like, man, in some ways it'd be great to be closer to, family and their kids and enjoying their activities. And then I get back and I enjoy this beautiful weather and obviously have great friends here like yourself.
Well, and like both of us lived in Colorado at one point in our lives. Yeah. And we talked today about Colorado's beautiful, but you look and you see the mountains.
They're way over there.
But it's like a commitment.
If you're in Denver, it's like
that's a day trip.
I can kind of see them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not like I can drive up there and go fishing this afternoon.
No, you're not going to get there in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
You're not going to get to a fishing spot in the mountains in 20 minutes.
Yeah, no doubt.
Which we can here. But
so we are unbelievably fortunate. And this is just a beautiful time to be in Montana. And that's why at Lewis and Clark Brewing, we do 70% of our business in the next 90 to 120 days because lots of other people come here too, right?
Exactly.
It's a beautiful place. So,
well, you have something you've kind of been teasing me with.
Yeah,
I do. In a bottle there. What do you got?
I got this from a good friend of mine who said, "Hey, do you like bourbon?" And I said, I'm not really a big bourbon guy, but I definitely have a few that I really like. And so he surprised me last time I was in his office, and he said, "Hey, I think you'll really like this one." So this is called Eagle Rare.
Oh yeah.
Kentucky Straight Bourbon. And what's the distillery here? It's the same one as the.
It's the same one as
Buffalo Trace, isn't it?
Buffalo Trace.
Okay.
Yeah, Buffalo Trace.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, thank you.
So this is going to be.
Very good.
A nice little addition to the day.
Cheers to that.
Cheers.
And then what do you got chasing it?
I got a little H2O, the brewer's hard seltzer, chasing it today.
That's good. That's what I have also. And
this is really smooth.
Oh, it's might
have been the ice. I took a little nip off of it because I just couldn't wait. Yeah. And it was still very good. But man, if you throw some ice on
when
it.
you cool it down and you get just a little bit. Now the ice hasn't had a chance to melt, so it's just cooling it. It just tastes so smooth.
Yeah,
and Eagle Rare is one of it. It might even be better than Blanton's. By the same distillery.
It might be. I mean, I've had quite a few bottles of Blanton's, but that is about as smooth as I've had, and it's not super peaty, and it's not super smoky. It's just
really smooth.
Really
it's very simple. So, before it won its awards and became super famous, because Eagle Rare has also, I asked for Blanton's in our local liquor store, and goes, "Oh no, we don't have Blanton's, but let me hook you up with this Eagle Rare. It's really good." And I got like 2 bottles, and then it won some award, and you couldn't get it either.
Oh, really?
And it's like, yeah, it became super
Wow.
popular. But it's
I'm definitely
really
gonna
good.
Keep a bottle of this. Make sure I keep it in the apartment. Of course,
Oh, yeah.
we have musicians come through on a regular basis. Nice to have a
Yeah.
little something special. We got the tequila and a couple
Yeah.
other nice things in the cabinet to share with people.
Yeah.
But yeah, that even for people that I think would say, no, I don't do whiskey, I don't do bourbon. Man, I think you could convince them that that's a pretty easy thing to drink.
It's really smooth. If you like that taste at all, that's super smooth. If you want some sort of fruity, put a umbrella in it, drink, that's not it. But this is a really smooth, really great whiskey.
By the way, speaking of really good mixed drinks, and you and I need to go down there. Matter of fact, we should probably take a camera down there and do a podcast from there. Is the new Gulch Distillery location. So they moved downtown, their actual tap room, if you will, where they can serve alcohol to the public, is now right next to the Gold Bar and in the old saddlery shop that was there.
Okay.
And so they make some amazing cocktails. They just came out with a new menu just recently here, and I'm a coin member, so we go down there and have a cocktail. And they do just an amazing job with really that kind of old school, it might take 5 to 7 minutes to watch the guy do this stuff. But when you finish the cocktail,
shave the orange or something.
There's going to be a lot of stuff in it, and there's going to be a lot of work that went involved. And you just taste it and you say, yeah, this is what a real cocktail tastes like. So yeah, shout out to the Gulch. And, we'll have to go down and check out some of their stuff too. But yeah, lots of cool stuff coming up. Of course,
speaking of musicians that come to the brewery, what do you got happening?
Moving into summertime, and we've got a lot of cool stuff to talk about. We talked at our last podcast about Live at 5, and we're super excited about that.
And those are Wednesdays, kind of every other Wednesday at the tap room, except for a few of them that have some the Carroll College one and the one downtown.
And Women's Park, and then, but every other one at the tap room. Extended it a couple of weeks, so we got 12 total this year. They're all out at helenasaliveat5.com. You can look at the entire lineup. You can still sponsor if you're looking to sponsor a Live at 5, or as an individual if you want to be in a Live at 5er. There's some benefits there, but yeah, we thought we would kind of run through the calendar and talk a little bit about some of the other cool stuff we have coming up this summer. One of the things that honestly over the last, I would say 2 months has really been kind of a surprise, I think, to both of us, and a lot of it in credit to you and, the investment you've made in the video DJ stuff that we've been able to utilize at the tap room there, is line dancing. And we've all heard of line dancing, and I kind of thought it was this thing from like, Urban Cowboy from years ago, and it was not necessarily that popular, but boy, was I wrong. I mean, line dancing is huge in Helena right now. The first one we did in the power room, and they just asked if they could rent the power room, which is a room we have upstairs in the tap room that holds about 80 to 90 people. And it was so packed in there. I almost felt bad because they couldn't even see their feet. They were moving around, and the instructors were trying to tell people, you do this step, and then you do the shake, and then you do the turn, and then you do whatever it is. And it was just so crowded. And so when we were able to get them on the main stage, so not only do we have a lot more room for dancers because we take all the tables out, but we also put the instructors up on the stage, and then we had your setup there for video DJ right after the class, which really works out, I think, ideally, because what happens is everybody wants to learn the dances, and let's be honest, most of them are fairly new to it, and they're kind of beginners to the line dancing thing. And then after they learn the dances and they play the music during the class, then you have curated a song list with the instructors, so we have a really good idea of the same kind of dance music that they're used to. And then we even have a mic on the stand that you set up so that the instructors can jump back in and do that. And I honestly was blown away. I mean, the first night up in the power room, I was blown away. And then when we had it downstairs and seeing the entire tap room just packed full of people that were looking to learn this line dancing, and obviously there was a lot of women that were kind of like pulling their husbands out there to learn the line dancing. And what's exciting though is I think we've done it maybe 2 or 3 times now.
Right.
And it seems like what you're seeing is some of the same people coming back, and they're feeling confident enough to do the line dancing even when the instructor's not telling them what to do.
Well, and Rhonda and Whitney do an amazing job at teaching. And so they teach a lot of stuff in a very short amount of time.
Yep.
And they do a fantastic job. And it's fun. I think you look at people and they're really enjoying it.
Advanced, you know, it's really cool to see that. And it's cool to see that there's some people that you can tell have been to their classes several times, and some it's their first time. They treat them exactly the same. And you can tell they're really intuitive. You know, having been in public speaking and instructing for years, that you can tell that they'll read the audience and they'll say, now, are you guys ready for this? Or do we need to walk through it one more time before we actually throw the music into it, you know? And so it's turned out to be a much more popular thing than I ever estimated it to be. And hopefully it continues to grow. So we've got a couple of those. I think.
We have the 29th, I think May 29th coming up is
awesome. I know we've been doing quite a few of them on Thursdays, right?
Yep. So I think you know, that they said that Thursdays were the best night for them.
Yep.
I believe.
Yeah, I think it worked out really good, and it works out great for us as well because you know, normally we do a solo or duo act on Thursdays, so it makes it really simple. There's been no cover charge for those shows, so you can come in, take the class, stay out, you know, listen to some music and dance a little bit more. And I would say the class, even though the class I think has been from 6 to 7, I would almost say that goes from like till 8, because I see her picking up the mic, one of the two.
Oh, right. So
continuing to give.
What I've said to them is don't stress about ending your class. So if it's because, you know, sometimes it's, you know, people are still showing up and it's like, hey, you know, so they've maybe gone 6 to 7:15 or wherever they feel they've done their last, you know, and then yes, we start the music and we're playing in that first set the songs that they've taught, you know, during that session.
Makes it much easier to flow into.
Yeah, then they can pick up, you know, the mic during that if the crowd needs a little more assistance,
encouragement.
Yeah, and then so if you are like, okay, we're playing the song you taught, and then we're playing a couple more songs from the same genre that maybe you taught the last time.
Yeah.
So it will be interesting the more we do this. And we have the 29th, and then we have 2 in June.
Oh,
same
sweet.
thing. And then I think July just worked out, you know, summertime. We have July off, and then we do 1 in August. We probably would have done 2 in August, but I'm gone at the end of August.
Okay, and I think one of them was we were going to try out on the patio. Right? Yeah,
yep.
That'll be really cool.
Probably the second one in June, and maybe the one in August out on the patio.
Okay, awesome. Yeah,
so whatever you guys want.
I think the other thing that I think a lot of people may not understand, because I was surprised by this, is the music's not all country.
Oh, right. I was blown away by that.
Yeah.
Actually,
I mean,
as I got into it, I thought line dancing was country line dancing, but no, it is absolutely, it's across genres. It's across ethnic groups. It's across
pop,
everything.
It's got R&B. It's got rap. I mean, there's all sorts of stuff that I was watching. And I thought, wow, they're line dancing to, you know, whether it be 50 Cent or whatever.
Right.
I mean, there was some really interesting stuff that fits in that same beat pattern of line dancing. And so, yeah, I would say, you know, even if you're not into country, but you want to come out and have a good time. And there's something about feeling connected to a group of people that are all moving in the same direction.
And kind of what I would love to see it kind of grow into is that that first set after they do their class, like their songs and songs like that. And then if we heard more feedback from folks that would want to come out and maybe do just swing or so, do they want more country swing?
Yeah.
Do they want more? And then easy to shift it into those focus areas.
Yep.
But a lot of the line dancing stuff, they're great songs. You can just line dance to it, or you could swing to it, or do any other dance you want to.
And one of the unique things, I think, what you're doing is the video aspect of it.
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of DJs out there that are, whether it's MP3s or they're spinning records or CDs or whatever they're doing. But when you can put a good music video and in an environment like we have, where we have,
multiple
over 20
video
screens
TVs,
out there, it's just kind of cool to be able to look up and say, wow, I've never seen this video before.
Right.
I know this song, but I've never seen the video before. And it certainly keeps me entertained when I'm just sitting there watching the music.
And that's kind of, hey, I'm not a line dancer. I'm just going to say I'm not a line dancer.
We'll teach you.
I never will be. Well, if anyone could, Rhonda Whitney could,
Yep, could
convince me to line dance, but I'm not a line dancer. So, I enjoy watching the videos. So what I kind of think is cool, it's like, let's say you're not really into line dancing, or maybe you don't have someone that you want to go out and swing dance with later. Maybe you're running solo.
Yeah.
You can sit there and enjoy the environment and your friends, and you can watch the videos, and they're interesting.
Yeah.
To watch.
And I think, primarily we've been kind of focusing on the line dancing aspect of it. But my hope is, as we move into fall, especially, and we get Carroll College and that whole crowd coming back, that we can go into a little bit more of a late night.
Right.
And there's just so much, the lighting equipment that you've put together, and the video equipment is just really impressive. So whether you want to dance or you just want to come and see an impressive show of music videos, it's worth coming down to check out.
Yeah, I think reaching out to a few other people that I've spoken with and asking them to help me design what they want to see. So I had someone say, they're in their mid-20s and they were like, we don't have anything to do in Helena. I said, well, tell me what you want.
Yeah.
And we'll make it happen.
Yeah, because I mean, I think we've got, what did you say, like thousands, maybe even 10,000 music videos that you've got access to.
And then, frankly, if someone has a request or something like that, I can just pull it up.
Yeah,
it won't have the video. You won't get to watch. Videos are fun because you get an idea of what the artist had in mind when they wrote the song.
Yeah,
you kind of get to peek, a little insight into that. At least what they intended, because they made a video of it.
Yep.
But if there's just a song you want, easy to pull it up and run it without the video.
Yeah. So I'm super stoked about that. It gives us a whole nother element to the entertainment aspect of what we do at the Lewis and Clark Tap Room. Obviously, we're known for the live music, and thanks, Helena, for voting us again the best live music venue in town this last year, and best brewery and best beer and all that. We truly do appreciate those accolades. But it is always cool to reinvent yourself and to create new things, like we've done with the arcade, with the pinball, and the pinball tournaments that are now the second and last Sunday of every month, and the golf simulator with the leagues that are running fall and winter. And it's just about creating spaces that people want to enjoy and have a great beverage while they're enjoying it and meeting with folks. And
we've even talked about certain types of beers and stuff like that we said, maybe that's not our favorite beer, but it's becoming popular. It's what people want.
Yeah.
And so it kind of the same thing like karaoke. I mean, we've gone back and forth with that a little bit.
Yeah.
But if there was like people that came forward that said, man, you've got an amazing stage. We have this karaoke group that would love to come and sing karaoke there once a week.
Yeah.
Hey, we'll
make it happen.
Could you please, would you consider doing karaoke? Hey,
Yeah,
if people want to do
absolutely.
it, let's do it.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, a classic example is this last week, actually today, spent quite a bit of time looking at expanding the yard area outside.
Yeah,
so
how's that
obviously
going?
summertime's coming. We got a new stage coming in for Alive at 5, and we're going to use it for some of our bigger events like the block party and some of the bigger concerts. And so we're adding, about another 2,000 square feet of grass out to the lawn
Wow.
out in front of the tap room, and still have the same amount of parking out there, but just maximizing that space.
Right.
And allowing enough space for a nice big stage to pull into that north end and unfold.
Oh, nice.
So we could do bigger shows. So yeah, it's always about, in my mind, looking at where are the holes in the entertainment right now, and how can we fill some of those holes. So, the line dancing is just a classic example of that. And we're always looking for what is the next big thing.
I mean, that's a perfect example of two people coming forward, Rhonda and Whitney, and saying, "Hey, we're doing this line dancing thing. We want to do it at a place that's larger. We were doing it at the our workout facility,
sports club, yeah,
yeah. And so, hey, we want to do and then saying, hey, let's partner with you. Let's do it here, and then saying, oh, let's add a DJ to this. Let's make this a party after you do it.
Absolutely.
And so you get fun people like that just have a passion to do something.
Yeah.
And they do. And they're great teachers. And you clearly have people that are enjoying it. They're there. You got, I don't know, 80 to 100 people each time.
And it didn't matter. I mean, we've done it on a Thursday. I think we did the last one.
There was a Monday. It was Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah.
So it was a Monday.
Night. Still had
and you had
house.
A great crowd. Yeah. And so it's so much fun to provide a facility and an opportunity and things for people that have passion for whatever they have passion for to be able to do that.
Yep. And I think that's part of the challenge. You're always looking for not only is what do people want, but as you mentioned, like what do they want to drink? And one of the things that you alluded to just a minute ago is, there's a lot of people that are now into even the NA part of the world.
So are you ready to announce, talk about some cool stuff?
Talk about, I actually tasted the probably the third or fourth batch of test batches that we've been doing at the brewery of an NA version of Miner's Gold, and we're going to call it Miner's Silver NA. And it's getting really, really close. I'm super excited about this. So for those of you that are kind of like trying to give up the alcohol and still looking for a great beverage, I mean, we sell a lot of the Athletic Brewing NA beers in our tap room because people are looking for an NA alternative. So we are super stoked to probably in the next 60 days to launch NA Silver in draft statewide. And then by the end of summer in can statewide, and follow it up with an IPA after that. But we obviously NA beers are not regular beers. They're a little bit tougher to develop and to get something that you feel proud of. And I really feel like Mike and Jason, the brewing team, is really dialed it in now. And I'm feeling really proud about this beer. And there's certain times that even I feel like, hey, you know what? I've had 2 or 3 beers, but I still want something to drink. So if I could drink an NA, but I like the flavor of it, and I'm still enjoying the party atmosphere, the live music, the line dancing, whatever it is, then, I'm all about that. So,
I mean, and there's points until we get self-driving cars.
Exactly.
Then,
then
come on,
game
Elon.
over.
Yeah. Suey gets said, hey, kick that NA out of here.
Just crawl into that car and say, take me home.
Exactly. But until we get self-driving cars, NA where you can enjoy the flavor.
Yep.
And
it looks and smells and tastes right now very similar to a Miner's Gold. So
that's fantastic.
Very
because
stoked about
Miner's
that.
Gold is amazing. So if you can get that flavor into an NA package, that's awesome.
Going to be super cool. But talking about some of the other stuff coming up, I mean, the line dancing is one, but if we just kind of look into the end of May and into June here, We've got, obviously we got our pinball tournaments that I mentioned are coming up every second and last Sunday of each month. And we got the line dancing on May 29th. We got a band called Counting Coup coming May 30th that a lot of people have seen before. May 31st, Mojo Rising. If you haven't seen these guys,
Mojo Rising,
man, these are like the Doors tribute band.
Oh yeah,
and they lay it out, man. This guy doesn't wear shoes on stage. He crawls around on his belly and his back, and I mean, they really bring it. So if you're a Doors fan at all, you definitely got to check that out. And then June 5th, we got Curtis Moore, and then June 6th, Levi Blom band. That guy has been popular in Montana for a lot of years and traveled all over, but definitely a Montana guy. And then the Talbot brothers coming June 7th.
That'd be good.
Yeah, they're really an up and coming group that we were lucky enough to book. So make sure you check the calendar for that. Hey, if you're into, one thing that we really pride ourselves in at the tap room and the brewery is being diverse, right? So we're not just a country band. We're not just a line dancing place. We're not
opportunities for everyone.
Yeah. So on June 13th, it's Blistered Earth.
Hello.
If you are a Metallica fan and you're ready to get your face melted, you need to come down on June 13th because you might want to wear some earplugs. And if you don't, we have some at the sound booth.
That's right.
Because it's going to get loud and it's going to shred and it's going to be an amazing show. These guys always throw an amazing show. Just go to lctaproom.com for tickets to that. Jaden Decker, another Montana boy, coming back June 14th. And then, of course, we're kicking off Alive at 5 on June 18th at the tap room. Brett Mondi, another Montana guy that's
super talented.
Yeah,
he's
I think he's got an album
dude.
Release coming up here at this show, June 19th.
That's great.
Joe Stam Band, another guy that was actually booked through on a tour with Gordy's Highway 30. He was playing down there, and that festival ended up getting canceled, and so we were able to pick him up.
That's great.
Yeah, it'd be a good little addition. And then Rocky Mountain Pearls, who we had at the Montana Beer Festival, and they've been a couple of times, great country band. And then, of course, June 25th, we got 10 Years Gone at Alive at 5. That'll be down at Women's Park. And then June 26th, we got line dancing back at the tap room. June 27th, Big Ska Country. These guys are awesome. I mean, if you want to see a full band with horns and all that stuff, you got to come down and check these guys out. Not just if you're into ska, if you're into any sort of music, they cover the gamut. Emma and the Ledge on the 28th. And then, of course, we got another Alive at 5 with the Wilder Flower trio of gals that are really very talented. And then July 5th, if you don't have plans for the 4th of July weekend, why don't you just make some right now? Because there's a band called Yarn, and kind of like the yarn that you would use to knit some cool stuff, right? YARN. If you haven't checked them out, just go to Yarn Band and check them out on Google. These guys have been doing it for a long time, and they've came to the brewery. I think this is their maybe 4th time.
I'm thinking 4th, yeah.
And just super talented guys all the way from North Carolina, I believe, either North or South Carolina. Those Carolines get blended together to me. But
in 2020, I opened for them when it might have been their first time here.
Yeah.
And they were super kind, and they, he came out and listened for a while, and they are so good. I mean, they are a great band.
I mean, if you just Google them and go to their website, you will pay $30 to $40 to see them anywhere else. I think they're maybe $15 in a ticket here.
You will not be, because they cover they just sound great. They cover a lot of
amazing musicians.
Yeah.
And that's going to be outside on the patio, July 5th, Saturday. Going to be an awesome night. And then, of course, the next week we got The Red Elvises at Alive at 5. That's going to be down on the Walk-In Mall. And then Saturday, July 12th. I mean, there's another band that goes back a long time for you and I because
I love Cruise.
We've had Cruise here, and we've had them at the Bob Marshall that you and I put on for a couple of years up there. And the Black Lilies were the original group that Cruise formed. Right. And now he has the ability to market himself as Cruz Contreras and the Black Lilies because of some legal stuff they had to go through or whatever.
Attorneys.
But amazing music and just a really talented musician.
The man is so talented and he's so down to earth. He's just so, he like, you got to appreciate people that are so talented and they've tasted like a little bit of fame, you know.
Yeah.
I don't want to say a little bit for him, but he's tasted some significant fame.
Played it like, you know.
Yeah, and yet I've seen him talk to people in the crowd just like super kind and super normal,
willing to
and
meet
just
people and talk to them.
It's just really down to earth.
Yeah, I mean Grand Ole Opry, all those kind of places.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy, they're
very
definitely
accomplished.
Very accomplished. And so come out and see them July 12th. That's Cruz Contreras and the Black Lilies. You can find them, I believe, I can't remember if that might be just, hit the details on that one. It might be a $10 cover at the door, if I remember right, instead of a ticketed show. Yeah, $10 cover at the door. So just come on down. It's going to be out on the patio. And you will not forget that night. If you've never seen Cruz Contreras and the Black Lilies, and I know a lot of you have because there's a lot of fans here in Helena that come out every time for that one. We've got some really great stuff coming up, and we're going to kind of focus on what's coming through June and July. So we got July 6th with Yarn. We got July 12th with Cruz Contreras and the Black Lilies. And then, of course, we got Alive at 5, July 16th with the Young Dubliners, the Irish rock band.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Always a great show. We got Clint Raymond coming up on July 17th.
Very talented.
July 19th, we got Rhino Skin.
Do you remember? I'm not familiar with them.
Yeah, they're more of kind of a grunge, kind of Nirvana kind of band situation. But yeah, they filled out the form. I looked at their stuff and they were traveling through, and I thought, man, they'd be a kind of a nice, diverse fit to the music that we throw out there. And then July 23rd, we got another Alive at 5 with Matt Axton. Of course, Hoyt Axton's his dad, icon in the country music, Matt Axton and the Bad Moon. And then July 24th, we got Megan and the Birdwatcher. July 25th, if you didn't catch Off in the Woods this last Saturday night, which shame on you for not checking them out. These guys are just...
very good.
A 7-piece band that's got sax and trombone and keyboards and 2 guitars and bass and bongos and drums. I mean, they really kind of cover the gamut. It reminds me, I think I mentioned to you, we were watching them this last Saturday night. You and I were up there at the VIP seats that were right behind the bar there. And they remind me a little bit of when the Clintons were at their fullest.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Where they had some horns going on and they had keyboards and all that stuff. And you and I used to go down to Miller's Crossing and it was just packed down there.
Right.
And that's what they remind me of. I mean, they just have such a vibe of everything from kind of reggae to blues.
It's just a chill.
Soul
it's like, there's just like you said, blues, reggae, it's very good.
It's the kind of music you just want to dance to.
Yeah.
And you see people getting out on the dance
Well, you see
floor.
people almost, they're sitting at the table and almost, you see them start moving.
Yeah.
Always moving. Pretty soon then they're turned facing the band and they're moving.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just that kind of music that's going to draw you in.
Yeah, and those guys are actually going down to film. So they're going to be here July 25th. I think it's Saturday, July 26th. They're going to be filming that special on PBS called The 11th and Grant.
Oh,
They're
nice.
going down to Bozeman to do that. And that's a great show. They also do a lot of background. So these guys are out of Polson and Missoula. One of them's out of Whitefish now. So they do a lot of kind of behind the scenes story of how these guys got together. They've been together 15 years now, which is crazy, but it'll give you a good understanding of their music. But yeah, definitely come down and check them out. And then of course we got July 30th at Alive at 5 again. We got 710 Ashbury,
nice
local favorite. Deadhead fans
Very
and anybody
fun.
that just wants a jam band. I mean, that's a great time. And then July 31st at the Tap Room Whiskey Strut. We haven't had them through before.
No, talk to me about them.
Yeah, good kind of alt country band that's got some good rock and roll to them too. So
nice.
If you're into any of that kind of, I guess I would say rock country mode, come on down and check those guys out. And then that brings us to the end of our podcast, which is the Lewis and Clark Block Party.
Nice.
Which we've been doing for, I don't know how many years now. I guess 2011 is when we moved to the new place. I think that's when we started it, right?
Hey, remember we had Smash Mouth for one of them.
Yeah. Smash Mouth. We've had
some names.
Real Big Fish.
Yeah.
We've had some really good stuff through there. Now it is 2025, so 14 years in. It's crazy to think we've been there 14 years.
I know.
Isn't it? It's crazy to think we've had the brewery for 23 years now.
It's crazy.
But at any rate, the first night, which is Friday night, is totally locked in. We can't talk about the second night yet. But the first night, if you're into Americana, bluegrass, and folk kind of music,
sign me up.
You are going to be totally into Friday night because starting out with a group called Babes in Canyon. And those of you that might have seen them come through just about maybe a month and a half ago is a duet that is part of something that used to be called Kawinka. And before that used to be called Rabbit Wild. And they've just bring it. I mean, these guys are just super talented and they just get the crowd going and a lot of high energy and just great music. And then to keep the Canyon theme going, we have a really great Americana bluegrass band called Lost in Canyons, which would be next on that Friday night. And then last, but certainly not least on that Friday night, a band that we've had come through a couple of different times out of Minnesota that I know a lot of people, especially from one particular town in Minnesota, are very familiar with, is called Wild Horses. And they just, if you're into any kind of music like Band of Horses or, I'm trying to think of other genres that kind of, or other bands that kind of match they have such a vocally driven instrumental clarity, and they go from just super low vocal chords to super high intense energy. Wow. And they're just a lot of fun. And so Friday night, August 1st, make sure you come down to the block party. This is all going to be on the big stage out on the new grass area. And then the next podcast that you and I get together and hopefully drink a little more of this Eagle Rare.
Yeah.
We'll talk about the second night of the block party, which would be August 2nd. But that gives people something to look forward to. We got the rest of May, all of June, and all of July. It's going to be a freaking great summer. So
if I start a band called Grand Canyon or Box Canyon, do you think I could maybe get in? Maybe 45 minutes, 30 minutes?
Maybe
just like, a few minutes?
Kind of like Rockin' the Rivers, after the main headliner was gone.
The edge, they
had like that other band that would come out and
maybe I could be on the small
rock
stage.
To all the drunk people. You're in.
And now on stage 2, Box Canyon.
Yeah, it's going to be a great summer. And we're looking forward to getting outside and having some fun out on the patio.
All right. Well, cheers, Max.
Cheers. Thanks.